Hi, and welcome to the Free Your Spirit podcast. I'm your guide, Carole Frey, founder of Free Spirited Wanderer, a conscious wellness business of yoga retreats, lifestyle coaching, and yoga teacher mentorship. In this podcast, we explore conscious business, yoga on and off the mat, and general lifestyle. Our aim is to help you live a more fulfilling and purposeful life. Whether you're an entrepreneur, yoga student, yoga teacher, or simply someone looking to make positive changes in your daily life. Join us as we share insights, tips, and stories to inspire you on your path to a more free-spirited life. So sit back, relax, and let's embark on a journey of self-discovery, adventure, and expansion. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Free Your Spirit podcast. I'm your host, Carole Frey. Welcome to this week's episode, Italy's Best Kept Secret with Amanda Jennings. We are here to tell you a little bit about Italy's Best Kept Secret, which is Marche, Italy, where I am hosting my retreat June 8th to the 15th, 2024. So I have the owner of the villa, or of Oliveto Estate, is on, and we're just going to chat a little bit about the area, about the villa, and you can just get to learn a little bit more about this area. So I'm really excited to have her on here. And Amanda, welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Carole. I really appreciate you having me on here.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have you on here too. And, as we mentioned before, I am just really excited to bring a group to this area. And I also know that a lot of people aren't super familiar with this region of Italy. So I'm just excited to have a chance for you to kind of really share like the magic that it has to offer, the magic of the villa. And yeah, I'm just super excited. So I would love to hear first, can you just
us too.
Yay. Good. I would love to hear, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up as the owner of Oliveto Estate?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess the best way to describe myself is I'm Italian made, but born in the UK. Both my parents are from Italy. We've got family all over Italy. My dad was born to Italian parents that ended up settling in England after the war. And my mum went to live in England when she was just 11 with her parents. And from an entrepreneurial family, they were bringing Italian food and wine across, actually, the first company to bring it into the UK. And they met on a blind date when they were 16, and the rest is history. So that's kind of where where I started my life. But basically, my mum was born in Marche, which is the town where we have the property. And so that actually is quite like home for us. We've been back there spending time in that town most of the holidays, every summer. And as Italians do, we've got big, expansive families from all over the place. And that's why we ended up buying Oliveto Estate over 38 years ago now, actually. So quite a long time.
Oh, that's awesome. And how long have you been running it as, how long have you been offering it to other people to rent and lead retreats and things?
Yeah, so basically, because my background is actually in product innovation and service design, that's kind of where my work history is. But about 6 years ago, I decided that because we were only using it really a couple of weeks a year, we wanted to kind of really share the space. So one of the things I'm really passionate about is well-being and health, I love yoga, love Pilates, love all those kind of things, and obviously good food too. So we thought if we could create a really beautiful space in the center of the property, which is the purpose-built studio, we could create a lovely space where people could come and share that space and bring their retreats there. But we were very quite purposeful about making sure that there was a real space that was surrounded. When you can practice, it was purpose-built. It was a beautiful space, a beautiful setting. You're in the middle of the olive groves. You've got a deck in front of the sea. It's fantastic. And we didn't want to compromise on that. So it took us a little bit of time to build, but we're super excited about that now.
Awesome. Me too. When I found you on
deluxe destination. And the moment that I saw your place, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to look into this further. Like it immediately caught my eye. And when I was like looking into the website more and just reading everything about it, it just really spoke to me. And I was super excited when, we got in contact. So I would just love for you to tell us a little bit more about the property as well.
Okay, perfect. So we're based in Marche, which is one of Italy's most untouched areas. And whilst the tourists tend to flock to Tuscany or the West Coast, actually the Italians come to us in our region for their holidays, which is really lovely. So it's super authentic.
Yes.
Le Marche is known as the best of Italy in one region because it's got the most varied topography. It's one of the smallest regions of Italy, but in a very short space of time, you've got mountains that are kind of 40 minutes drive away from us. You've got an amazing protected blue clay waters all along the coast, and these rolling hills in between, and another, I think it's 26 of the most beautiful towns named in Italy, which are like Fermo, Sarnano, Ascoli Piceno. There's some beautiful places that are just 13th century villages that you couldn't replicate easily. And again, you go there and you'll be one of a few people there because there aren't many tourists in our area, which is fantastic.
Yes.
And then coming a little bit more about the property itself, we're set actually on a hillside of 9 acres. They overlook the Adriatic coast and really loads of rolling hills in between that. We have 2 independent eco-luxury villas. These can be rented either separately or together because the gardens interlink for up to 22 guests. Each villa has its own pool, amazing facilities such as like the spa and the fire pit in Villa Olivo, or the tennis courts and the 400 tree olive grove in Oliveto. So you don't really have to leave the drive if you don't have to, but also it is really lovely to explore the region as well if you do come and hang out. And as I mentioned before, we've got our purpose-built studio, which is amazing for any kind of retreats, whether it's well-being or art or writing retreats. And as I said earlier, we didn't want to compromise on the retreat space, so it's really special and it's got a really amazing feeling when you sit there on the deck. It's got like a really cool feeling in that area.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I think it's so special too. I love the emphasis that you do have on the wellness portion of it too, because I feel like there are so many places that kind of, especially when I search, it's actually really hard to find a really solid retreat center. And then one of the things I really loved was that you did kind of have everything. I love that you have the option for a private chef. I love that you're close enough to the area that you can walk and explore, or you can just stay on property the whole time. And I always love giving people that option of, hey, you don't ever have to leave for this whole week and you're going to have an amazing time, or like definitely go out and enjoy the area. And I do love that you have like that indoor outdoor yoga space too. I think I mentioned to you before, we've had places where there isn't an indoor space and we've gotten caught in the rain and we've ended up in like a living room of a villa. So I'm really excited just because I feel like there is, like, as you're saying, there's something so special when you have like a sacred yoga studio or a space to actually practice yoga. It's so different than just practicing in a living room. And I just love the fact that you really speak to a wellness retreat. Just because, like I said, I've had a really hard time finding something. And especially when I found you, you definitely checked like all the boxes for me. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh, thank you. Well, we try our best, and each time, we have really good relationships as well with each of our hosts, and we always try to keep improving year on year. That one of them was saying that we didn't have blocks of a certain size the other year, so we just bought some more just to make sure that when they come back, it all feels like it's just as they want it. And I think the other thing to say is that we really try to design it as a home from home. So there's loads of little spaces, loads of little nooks where if you are the person who wants to come on a retreat but then just need to kind of break away from the group and go read a book or go chill out on your own, you can so easily do that. There's so many spaces to kind of hang out. either separately or for different areas of the space of the location, for people to kind of collaborate and hang out around a glass of wine, or maybe the local gin that's been made from 17 different botanicals from the local area. There's loads of places to do lots of different things, alone or with a group.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. And it's really special. And I love even the fact that like I said, I've worked with a lot of different retreat centers now, and I have had relationships with people where I feel like they just don't care, which is so sad to say. Like, they don't care about the retreat experience for the leader and their group. So the fact that you are saying that you even take into consideration, like feedback or things to make it a better experience, I think that that is so amazing. And I always tell people, like, I'm really intentional about the people that I choose to work with and the places, because it's like anywhere that we invest or place our money shows like what we value. And I just think it's so important to like build these amazing relationships, and that like you feel seen and heard by each other. And then that also, the energy moves into the group as well. Like, I never want to bring people to a place that I don't feel that energy from the beginning. And like I said to you, like even over email, I just felt that connection with you, that I could tell that you were genuine, that you like actually wanted to create a great experience for people. It's not just about the money, which like I said, I've had that experience with people in other retreat centers. So I just really appreciate that about you. And I like loved feeling that connection. And that's like what I tell so many other people about. So I'm always really intentional about who I work with. And I just felt that from you. So I just appreciate that about you.
Thank you, Carole. I can see all the effort that you put into with all your amazing retreats as well. So it goes both ways.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. So do you have a favorite part of, so I know, right, you have 9 acres, you have all these places like inside and outside. Do you have a favorite part of the estate?
Well, it's really difficult I guess the best way to distill it down is I'm going to break it down to the day. So
Awesome.
in the first thing in the morning, the best place in the world is either inside the studio or on the deck, because the light, we actually benefit from an amazing sunrise and amazing sunsets, both, because we're right on they call it the elbow of Italy. Because we're kind of like jutted out on a point, actually, if you look on the map. So we can actually see both really amazingly. So you have the most spectacular sunrises. And that's a wonderful place to be, because the light comes in, it's just dreaming, and there's beautiful shadows that the plants make and the olive trees make on the deck. It's gorgeous. So that's definitely my favorite morning place.
Awesome.
For the afternoons, I love kind of hanging around the pool, to be honest with you. That's when you kind of just want to, like, after your lunch, just have a little session by the pool. And there's loads of little shady areas. We've got a little bar there. You've got also, things like ping pong tables and stuff. So if you want to get a little bit active, you can do, which is really lovely. Or if you just want to sit around and read a book in kind of one of the sunbeds, you can do that too. And then for the evenings, I think one of my favorite places is the fire pit at Oliveto, because you can watch the sun go down. And again, I guess it's all around the sun, really. Maybe actually I've just thought of that and going through the theme, but it's
that's perfect.
It's really full. You've got the fire there going. You can share really lovely magic moments with people that you're with, either new or old friends. It's really special. It's a really lovely place to be. So they would be my 3 favorite places.
Awesome. Yeah. And again, I feel like this is a theme too, that it's like you have something for people that want to be active, the adventurer, and then you have people that just like, want to read a book and hang out. And, I have a lot of people, and I'll say, like, if you are a solo traveler listening to this, I always welcome people to come by themselves, because I think it's really special that you can like go off and read a book by yourself, but you also have time to like meet a lot of new friends and like just create this community. And it's also perfect to come with a spouse or come with like a sibling or a friend. And I just love the fact that like on these retreats, you have time to either be by yourself or to be with community. You have time to, obviously we have all the yoga classes, but aside from that, like, you can go play tennis, you can swim, you can go for a walk, you can bike ride, you can go to the gym. So I just love that your place like hold space for all these people, like all different types of people to come, and also to really like honor what your heart wants on retreat, because it is different for people, right? We all come for different reasons, and I just love that you speak to everybody and that you have time to kind of like address whatever it is that you're looking for. So that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've tried to kind of design, I guess, the experiences that we've got so that you can either be outside the villa and exploring the area, or even inside the villa, where we can bring in different like artisans. So there's like a candle making workshop that in all the produce is local, so you can actually make this candle from scratch, and you can make the essential oil wax from scratch, and it's a local artisan who's actually coming in to show you how to make this. Or we have like a lady who creates these amazing hats, because our area in the market was one of the most it's actually the second place in the world where these hats were woven out of wheat shafts, the end of the wheat shafts that the farmers never used. And so the mums or the wives would make these for their men in the fields. So the Marche is one of the biggest areas for hats. The children can come in and bring these amazing hats in, and you can have like a shopping experience, get them all personalized. Buy one if you wish, just try them on if you don't. It's a fun experience, but we've got lots of different types of experiences that we can either bring in, or you can go out like truffle hunting and hiking and biking and those types of things as well.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. And I would love to dive into that right now, with all these amazing activities you have, because when I was reading through, the brochure you gave me, I just like lit up inside of the fact that you have so much for everybody. And, I grew up in Vermont, so I grew up in the mountains and just always loved like hiking and being outside, and just like my philosophy when growing up was like the mountains cure everything. And then moving to North Carolina, I was a little bit more in like the warmer weather, surrounded by the beaches, and then starting to do retreats in Tulum and Costa Rica and being in the beach. So when I saw that you were like in the middle of both of these, I was like, wow, this literally speaks to like both parts of me now, and as well as like so many other people I know, right? The question is always like, are you a mountain person or a beach person? And I love this because it's like you can be both and come on this retreat and come to La Marche. So I would love for you, maybe can you just tell us like a little bit more? And I know you have a ton of activities, so if you want to just highlight like a few in the area, I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you guys offer for activities, or what La Marche offers.
Sure. So you've touched on it really well, actually, in terms of you've got the mountains 45 minutes away from us, and also the beach area, which is, there's a beach that's 7 minutes drive, but you've also got this amazing untouched natural reserve where they actually release turtles every year in this area, which is beautiful. And that's kind of 40 minutes away as well. So everywhere is super close, firstly, which is great. So you can be skiing in the mountains in the morning and then go to the beach in the afternoon if you really wanted to,
like in
the winter.
That's so cool.
It's super easy to do. Yeah. But I guess some of my favorite things are, if I was to do there's an amazing e-bike ride, and we've got some amazing tour guides that can take you on this beautiful lake in the mountains. It's quite an easy ride as well, so it's accessible for everybody. And the e-bikes, if anyone has not used them before, are really easy. Like even my kind of 10-year-old son is kind of on it like a rocket, and they're pretty awesome bikes.
Oh, fun.
But you don't have to go too fast, but it just takes the edge off the biking in the mountainous areas. So that's beautiful. And then we've also got do a hike probably in the coastal areas, because you can actually start in some hilltop towns up there, maybe have a little coffee, a little espresso, maybe a little gelato if it was the afternoon, and then you can hike down through these amazing woods to the beach areas, and then maybe have a swim after that, which is beautiful in these like crystalline waters. Another favorite thing to do outside of the villa is probably truffle hunting, and that's probably one of our favorite experiences, because there's this guy whose truffle hunting location has been passed down through generations, as it always is in our area. And then his aunt, who is probably as tall as the rolling pin that she's used, is cooking this pasta and making this pasta from scratch in front of this pasta demonstration.
Oh, that's awesome.
Meanwhile, he's cooking up the truffle that you found, and the truffle dog's kind of like wanting to kind of hang out and try and find some more truffle for you. And then he'll come out and create this amazing 3-course meal with loads of shaved truffle all over this homemade pasta. It's just delicious. So I'd say probably those are three of my real favorite experiences. If you wanted to see somewhere as well that was run by women, there's an amazing vineyard close by. Again, run by women over generations to generation. They actually ended up creating this vineyard, and it's over the most beautiful, fantastic 360 view. And they'll do a really special lunch with wine tasting. So you can do the wine connoisseur tasting, but if you just want like a bit more fun, you can just do the lunch and the wine tasting, which I tend to enjoy too. So you can all have a chat and stuff and absorb the view while you're there. So that I would say is that some of our kind of like key activities that are just super super fun, and also you get to see lots of different areas of the region like quite quickly. And then inside the villa, I would say, apart from the treatments, which obviously always go hand in hand with retreats, such as we've got reflexology, we've got Thai masseuse, or we've got lymphatic drainage, which is great when you come off a flight.
Yes.
Apart from those, we've got amazing things, sound baths that we can organise with a local sound bath practitioner, particularly on an evening, is just amazing. The atmosphere is amazing in the studio or out of the studio if you wanted. You can have, I think I mentioned the candle making, but we've also got like a local gin distiller who will bring his distilling equipment, and you'll smell all these botanicals, and he'll create a little cocktail for you all that's perfect around the fire pit or the deck. And a pasta making course. I mean, you can't come to Italy without a pasta making course. That's amazing, and then you get to eat it afterwards, which is even better than the course.
Even better. Yeah, awesome. Do you find real quick on that, so we have so many people in the States now that are gluten-free, and I've heard a lot of places, like when you travel to Italy, a lot of people that are gluten-free in the States can eat the pasta there. Do you find that like, do you know what? Sorry.
Yeah, well, actually, a lot of the places. Yeah, no, it's interesting you find that, because a lot of people come to us, and obviously knowing, there's lots of different intolerances and different requirements. We always make sure that ourselves and our partner can accommodate gluten-free, dairy-free. I don't know, I can have raw onions, but I can't have cooked onions. We've heard it all, and we can accommodate it all. Like, we're really good at making sure that we can accommodate all guests. And we've kind of chosen partners, and because it's an untouched area of Italy, we've actually helped our partners, which is part of our philosophy, kind of grow and understand what different requirements are. Because in Italy, gluten-free is still a very
new
early concept, let's say. It's not as established as in the States or in Canada or UK or Australia or somewhere. And actually, often many guests come over and decide that they're, say that they're gluten-free or they are gluten-free, but then sometimes they'll try a few different things along the way and realize that actually it's not affecting them. And it's because, like, our area is, everything's grown locally. We source everything locally. Everything that we can is sourced within, I think, I don't know, a few kilometers of the house. So awesome. Things are grown. They're not sat on shelves, they're all grown fresh and then used, and even the wheats and the pasta and the fresh pasta that we use. But if you are gluten-free and you don't want to try it, that's not a problem, because everywhere we go, we can offer you an option as well. Awesome. No problem.
Yeah, that's
same with vegetarian or vegan. There's no issue.
That's awesome. That's really good. And I love too that everything is locally sourced, obviously. I mean, all of, Ayurveda, yoga, sister science always teaches to eat foods that are like in season and foods that are more local. And like, of course, when you have someone preparing it with love, as I know every chef in Italy prepares their food with love, there is something just like so different about consuming that. And we always teach that how you eat is more important than what you eat also. And I do just think like the energy that gets poured into, like the presence that gets poured into, and also finding that when you eat as a group in community, like there's just something different about your digestion and like the way you digest, whether it's like food or wine. I swear, like I always feel fine or even like better after. I don't know. There's just something really special about that. And I was like really excited about the menus that you guys had. And I actually want to sidetrack and touch on this real quick too, because I'm doing, let's see. So the chef, we have brunch, snack, and dinner. Would you be able to share like a little bit more, maybe just like about the food and how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. So we know that obviously with the brunch and the dinner option, we always make sure that for those who might need to eat before their practice, there's an option for taking out maybe, I don't know, might have a chia pudding or an overnight oats or yogurt and homemade granola. Like that will be out there ready for you when you wake up with the teas and coffees and loads of herbal teas and
Awesome.
filtered water. And that'll be there for you if you want it. If you don't, then obviously straight after the practice, at the time that we've agreed, obviously for the retreat, then the brunch will come out, and the brunch is a real kind of sharing time where you can all share what's there. There'll be eggs of the day. There'll be different locally made croissants. Homemade bread. There'll be also kind of fresh fruit platters, and then some kind of really lovely mixed roasted vegetables, salads, again, all seasonally based, really fresh, really locally produced. And the chef actually is a nutritionist originally. So
Oh,
she's a
cool.
nutritionist and chef, which is quite nice because she really kind of balances out the meal. So you feel always kind of light and happy all the way through the day.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's
then the
so
dinners,
good.
yeah, the dinners are usually three course, and you'll have like some kind of starter there, and in Italian style, it will be very much kind of a vegetable based Italian starter. In the winter months, we might do some kind of like a little soup or a little like a lentil stew or something like that. In the summer, we'll make it lighter, a little bit fresher because obviously the sun's out and it's more hot.
Yeah.
And then for the main meal, it could be a mix of, maybe it could be like a homemade lasagna or cannelloni. It could be a really lovely fresh fish that literally they come in the morning to the port, and then she buys them there and then brings it up. It's literally that fresh
That's
from local
awesome.
fishermen. Yeah. um, and um, and she'll pair that with some local like fagiolini, like little green beans, and then maybe put some kind of seeds and or nuts on there. And then for the dessert, I think tiramisu usually is in the is it figures somewhere in the
Perfect.
in the
Perfect.
in the display, and we try and kind of like do a balance of desserts where we might have some that are kind of lighter desserts and then some that are a little bit more luxurious, let's say like the tiramisu, just so that kind of everyone's balanced out through the week.
Awesome. Oh, that sounds so good. Thank you for sharing that. I know everyone always wants to know about the food, especially when you go to Italy. I know that's like a big reason that people want to go to Italy is to try the food. And I also love how you
Absolutely.
said,
Yeah.
yeah, with the brunch too, how she kind of does it so you feel like light and happy throughout the day, or it gives you like the energy throughout the day because there's literally nothing worse, right, than feeling like weighed down after a meal or feeling like lethargic or tired. So it is so important. And I think sometimes too, maybe when people think of food in Italy, I don't know if they think about, I mean, our Italian food in the US is way different than the way you guys cook. And again, like the products you have. So I always like just want to let people know that like you're not going to feel weighed down after, you're not going to feel tired. And I love that you guys are very like just intentional about that of like, hey, we want to give you guys energy. We want you to feel good throughout the day, which is really important, especially on a wellness retreat, right? When we're trying to come back home to like our healthy, happiest versions of ourselves. So I really appreciate the way that you guys set up the menu too.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. So we might have kind of touched on this before, but maybe just I'm going to go back to La Marche now after my sidetrack. Why, and maybe just like kind of
Sure.
summarize what you said before, but why do you think La Marche is a perfect place for a wellness retreat?
So, Marche, it's such a special place because it's so untouched. So, it's, as I said, it's one of the smallest regions with so much typography that there's so much natural beauty around, whether that's the mountains, the sea, the rolling hills, all the little hilltop towns that are peppered in between. Um, it's kind of like picture perfect, like a picture postcard wherever you look, to be honest with you. Um, and it really feels like the real Italy without the crowds. Like you're when you go there, you really do feel like you're discovering Italy because and this can be this, some people can find this a bit tricky sometimes as well, because not many people speak English, or some people will really try and speak English. They love to try to speak English there because they don't see that many, there aren't that many tourists. But there's so much to see and do. And think that while most places are finding their way back to 0 mile foods, I mean, this region's been doing it for years and years and years. They've never moved away.
Wow.
So you feel like the local butcher was handed down from one family, to another. Everything basically is the same, and it's just a lot slower. Like the pace of life is a lot slower, and it's very calm, and the people are super friendly, and you just feel like home when you go there. It just feels like a really beautiful place to be, and the fact that there's still so many artisans around the area, which is why we really try and support them. I think it's amazing, because if you think of all the places where the artisans are just, they're not around anymore, they can't survive. These guys are still going. Like all the shoes are made in La Marche. So you've got loads of different brands like Prada and Tod's and all those kind of places. And I grew up with lots of my friends whose the dad made the heels, or the grandma made the soles, and then they put them together and that was a shoe. It was pretty, it's an industrious place in terms of the productivity and the entrepreneurship there, but it's still very artisanal. But it's a really fabulous place, and often people come and then they keep wanting to come back because they realize the difference between this and other areas of Italy. You'll feel at home, and you'll feel like you've discovered the true authentic Italy if you come to La Marche.
I love that. And I do really love, the untouched Italy and experience Italy without the crowds. And I think especially for a wellness retreat, that's so awesome, right? Because one of the reasons, technically you can do yoga anywhere, right? You don't need to travel to do yoga. But I think one of the really cool things is when you find, right, first of all, a center that feels really special, that like has the energy, that is just in alignment with the practice. You have these amazing views. And then also you can get and like experience culture, right? Because that is why we travel, is to experience culture and see how other people live. And I find that so special that there aren't a lot of tourists there. So like you said, it is such an authentic experience. You really are around so many locals. And that's something that I want to bring people to too. It's just like kind of like off the beaten path, right? And I think that that's so fun. And it's like, it's so easy to go to Rome, and it's so easy to go to Amalfi Coast and do all those things. And like, yeah, that's great. Do that. But it's like, if you want to do the retreat and like experience the wellness side of it, I just think that, everything you've said, that this just sounds so perfect of finding that slow pace of life, but also, kind of sparking the adventurist in you and the culturist in you and the foodie in you. So it just seems like really such a perfect place to retreat and just like feel, like rested and at home. So I appreciate you sharing everything about that. And I feel like you have just found like the absolute perfect place for a retreat center. So yeah, I'm really excited. Awesome.
Oh, me too. It's so lovely. It is a really lovely place. It's a special place. And I think that's what when people come, that's what they recognize about it. And I think that's why, they do like to come back, because it has got, it's just got like I don't know, really it's got like a lot of integrity about the location as well. And it's from the land to the people to the produce that's there as well. It's very wholesome. It's very wholesome. Yeah.
That's awesome. And be able to like support locals and support families, that this has been passed down for generations. I mean, I feel like that's so special to be able to, just to be able to support that and be around that. And it's like you said, like what is more authentic than learning from, this artisan has been, or whatever you're saying, like, how it's just been passed down in years and years. And even you guys for having the property that you had for so many years. So I always just find that's just super cool. Awesome. So starting to finish up a little bit. So who do you think overall, like who is La Marche for, and who is Oliveto Estate for? What type of person do you think would best enjoy it?
I think as a guest, if you're wanting to come and feel like you're in a home from home, and you're in a location where you can really feel relaxed and you can make it as busy as you want or it as relaxed as you want, it's a really great place to come, because you can really, like, as I said, we've handpicked the best places locally or the best experiences that come into the villa, but you can make it as relaxed or busy as you like, so you get the most out of your week. And I think the fact that we can tailor make everything, so everything's pretty much bespoke to you as a retreat leader or to the guests, is really lovely, because I mean, we've had multi-generational people that come over, and one person wants to go out because they want to have a bike ride and they want to be really active, and then you've got maybe a 5-year-old kid that needs to activity or to do something, and then there might be someone else, a grandma that doesn't want to do something. We can tailor all of those things at the same time, and that's what's kind of quite special, because like you say, on retreats you do have people that want to relax, and then others that do want to go out and kind of check the boxes of seeing this and this, and we can cater for all of that. So I think I guess the if someone's really interested in learning about a new part of Italy, and learning new cultural experiences and traditions, is perfect for them to come out, whilst feeling like you can have an amazing practice in a purpose-built space.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And I guess one thing I did just think of too, so I'm including one activity for us to do as a group, which, you and I will talk about, but for other people, for the participants that do come, if they want to book, other activities, how does that work? Do they do it on site when we're at the retreat center? Is it something to kind of think about beforehand? And I guess same with the spa treatments too. So how does that work for people for any type of like add-on activities?
Sure, and we can absolutely accommodate that, no problem at all. I think the best thing probably we usually do is, once we've worked out our schedule and our itinerary, we'll then figure out what time availability there is in the schedule that's within the practice times and the meal times, and then we can decide together, and maybe even you could put it to the group and say, okay, we've got this and this option, which is the most interesting to you guys, so they've got visibility of that. And then we can figure out those dates, then people can sign up, and then we can just add it to their tab at the end of the stay. It's all pretty easy, to be honest with you. Awesome. The most important thing, I think, is getting it booked in ahead of the schedule, so that we can make sure it's organized, and so that when you arrive, you don't have to think about a thing. Awesome. And that always leads to the best retreats. Awesome.
Yes, I agree. Organization is key, right?
Yeah. Awesome. Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would love to just share with our listeners? Anything else that we didn't get to touch on?
I think the only thing that I would say is probably that Marche is amazing in each of the different seasons as well. So equally, like you say, that different locations in Italy have got different seasonal. Summer is always like a busy area, a busy time, but we have people coming throughout the year. And what's lovely is that you can have different experiences. So, for example, like in the spring, there's some really beautiful places. The mountains are really lovely for that, in particular. In the summer season, early summer, there's a place called Castellucci del Norcia, which is not too far away, where there's all the lentils are grown, and then all these amazing flowers in this huge basin come out. There's different things that happen, and then you've got kind of the autumn, where you've got the amazing harvest season, where truffle hunting is really like rife, and then you've got the olives that are coming out and being picked and grown, and then even winter is amazing for cycling. We've got 70 different cycle paths around our area that you can do. So it's really lovely, because you've got the different seasonality, and that's something that we're quite passionate about as well, because of like over tourism and all that kind of stuff, kind of spreading everyone through the year. So yeah, I think that's probably one thing to add.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I will make sure to add your Instagram at the bottom and your website, so people can connect with you as well, and also just continue to, explore. I mean, I'm such a visual person too, so everyone can, explore your page and what you have going on, or connect with you if they have any other questions. And then for people that are interested in joining me for our Dolce Vita yoga retreat, June 8th to the 15th, our early bird pricing ends on March 1st. So if you pay in full by then, it saves $200. And if you sign up with a friend and room with them, in addition, you each get $75 off as well. So if you can't tell from this episode, I'm just really, really excited to bring a group to Marche. I think it is literally the perfect place for a retreat center, especially for someone that wants to, experience Europe in the summer, get into Italy, experience authentic Italy, like be around the locals, and just really find a retreat that is like catered to you and whatever your heart desires. So I'm really excited to lead this retreat with all of you, and I hope that you join us. And Amanda, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing all of your wisdom, your knowledge on the area. I think it was really helpful for people to just learn more about an area that they're not super familiar with, and hopefully get them really excited to, visit this place one day too. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us on here. And I'm really looking forward to helping you craft your amazing retreat in June. I can't wait.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for listening. Until next time, keep showing up as your truest, most authentic self.